In the small town of Maplewood, life moved slowly. People knew each other and everyone had a story to share. At the center of the town was a clinic where Dr. Henry worked. He was a skilled doctor, respected by many, but he also carried pride in his heart. He believed that he was the best doctor in town and that some people were not worth his time. One sunny morning, the clinic was busy with patients. Nurses moved quickly, checking records and calling names. Dr. Henry walked down the hall, reviewing charts in his hand. His sharp eyes noticed a man sitting alone in the waiting area. The man was old, with gray hair and a walking cane resting beside him. His face was kind, but it also carried the weariness of years of hard work. This was Samuel. Samuel had lived in Maplewood all his life. He had worked in the fields, mended fences, and helped neighbors whenever they needed him. He was known for his honesty and generosity. On this morning, Samuel was feeling weak. His chest felt tight and he had trouble breathing. He had walked to the clinic hoping for help. Samuel approached the reception desk and spoke politely. "Good morning. I need to see Dr. Henry. I'm having trouble breathing." The receptionist looked at him and frowned. She was busy typing on her computer and did not look at Samuel's face. "Please wait, Dr. Henry is very busy today," she said. Samuel nodded calmly and returned to his seat. He did not complain. He had patience, and he knew that the staff had many patients to attend to. However, Dr. Henry noticed him and walked over. He looked at Samuel for a moment, then spoke without greeting. "I don't have time for minor problems," Dr. Henry said, his voice firm. "Come back another day or see another doctor." Samuel's eyes softened. He tried to explain again. "Doctor, I am having real trouble breathing. It is hard to walk even a short distance. Please, I need help." Dr. Henry shook his head. "I said I am busy. I don't treat minor illnesses for older people like you. You should go home and rest." Samuel remained calm. He did not raise his voice. He only nodded, thanked the doctor politely, and walked out of the clinic. Outside, the sun was warm on his face, but his heart felt heavy. People passing by noticed him. They whispered to each other, feeling anger at how unfairly Samuel had been treated. Samuel walked slowly down the street. His cane tapped gently against the pavement. He thought about his son, Michael. Michael was a young man with a bright future. He had worked hard, studied diligently, and earned respect in the city. Samuel always encouraged him to follow his dreams and never forget where he came from. As Samuel reached his small home at the edge of town, he sat on the porch and looked at the horizon. "One day," he whispered softly, "people will see who I really am and they will understand." Inside the clinic, Dr. Henry returned to his office. He felt satisfied with himself. He believed he had made the right decision. He thought that Samuel was exaggerating and that he had done nothing wrong. Little did he know that this small act of pride would soon change everything in his life. Meanwhile, Samuel's neighbors noticed his struggle. They offered him water and kind words, telling him that he should not let anyone hurt his spirit. Samuel smiled at them and thanked them. He was a man who carried patience and dignity, even when the world was not fair. At the end of the day, the clinic emptied, and the sun began to set over Maplewood. The streets became quiet and lights glowed in the small houses. Samuel sat on his porch watching the world around him. He felt tired, but he also felt hope. Hope that the truth about people's hearts would eventually shine. And deep in his mind, he thought of his son, Michael, who was determined, kind, and strong. Samuel knew that Michael would make a difference not just in his life, but in the lives of many others. Samuel did not know when it would happen, but he believed that one day, everyone would see that actions have consequences, and pride can be the first step to regret. That night, as the stars appeared in the sky, Samuel closed his eyes and whispered a quiet prayer. He prayed for strength, for patience, and for the day when kindness and respect would reach even the proudest hearts. The next morning, Samuel woke up early as usual. He moved slowly around his small home, making tea and preparing a light breakfast. His chest still felt tight, but he tried to stay calm. He knew that worrying would not help. Instead, he focused on the small tasks that gave him purpose. Meanwhile, in the city, Samuel's son Michael was already awake. Michael was 28, energetic, and full of determination. He had worked hard to become a respected researcher at the city hospital. Michael was known for his intelligence, his kindness, and his willingness to help anyone in need. Michael had not heard about what had happened to his father yet. He was busy planning a community health program for elderly people, hoping to make sure that everyone had access to good care. He believed strongly that no one, no matter their age or background, should ever feel ignored or unwanted. Back in Maplewood, Samuel decided to visit the town library. He liked walking there in the mornings. The fresh air and quiet streets gave him comfort. As he moved slowly down Main Street, he passed the clinic where Dr. Henry worked. He noticed the doctor stepping outside briefly, talking to a nurse. Their conversation stopped when they saw Samuel walking by. Dr. Henry's eyes narrowed and he quickly returned inside. Samuel did not react. He continued walking with patience and dignity. He had learned long ago that anger never solved anything. People would show their true nature in time. He only hoped that those who judged him too quickly would one day understand the value of respect and kindness. Inside the library, Samuel sat at a table and opened a book. He liked stories about brave people who faced challenges but never gave up. Today, however, his mind was not on the story. He was thinking about his son. Michael had always been a source of pride for him. The young man had faced obstacles but had never let them stop him from reaching his goals. Samuel smiled at the thought. Suddenly, Samuel's phone rang. It was Michael. "Good morning, Father," Michael said warmly. "How are you feeling today?" Samuel felt a little comforted hearing his son's voice. "I'm okay, son. A little tired, but I will manage," he replied calmly. "How is your work today?" Michael explained the plans for his new health program and how he wanted to help older people in small towns. He mentioned that he hoped doctors in every town would treat patients with respect, no matter their background. Samuel listened quietly, feeling proud. He thought about how Michael's kindness and intelligence were gifts to the world. "You will make a difference, son," he said softly. After the call, Samuel returned home. He rested for a while, then decided to take a short walk around the neighborhood. People greeted him warmly. Many had heard about the incident at the clinic. Some were angry at Dr. Henry, but Samuel only smiled politely and waved. He did not want to start a conflict. He believed that actions spoke louder than words, and time would show who was right. Later that afternoon, Dr. Henry noticed a package at the clinic addressed to him. It was unusual because he did not remember ordering anything. Curiously, he opened it. Inside was a letter introducing a young man named Michael, a doctor working at the city hospital. The letter explained that Michael had been leading a program to support elderly patients and had been recognized for his dedication to medicine and community health. Dr. Henry read the letter quickly and felt a strange feeling in his chest. He remembered Samuel from the day before. Could this be the same Samuel? Could his son really be the Michael described in the letter? He felt a sense of surprise, followed by a small spark of worry. Meanwhile, Samuel was unaware of what was happening at the clinic. He prepared a simple dinner, enjoying the calm evening. He thought of the day ahead, of Michael's dreams, and of the hope that people would learn the value of patience and respect. As the sun began to set, Dr. Henry could not stop thinking about the letter. He felt a quiet unease. For the first time, he wondered if he had made a mistake by dismissing Samuel so quickly. He could not shake the thought that perhaps the man he had ignored yesterday was more than he appeared to be. And so, Maplewood entered the night with questions lingering in the hearts of both the proud and the patient. Samuel rested with hope, while Dr. Henry faced the first signs of regret he had not felt before. The morning sun rose over Maplewood, casting a golden glow on the small town. Samuel sat on his porch sipping tea, enjoying the quiet moment. His thoughts often drifted to his son, Michael. He felt proud of the young man and the work he was doing in the city. Michael's dedication to helping others inspired Samuel every day. Meanwhile, at the clinic, Dr. Henry could not focus on his work. The letter about Michael kept returning to his mind. He remembered Samuel, the elderly man he had refused to see the day before. A strange feeling of unease filled him. Could he have made a mistake? He tried to push the thought away, but it lingered. As the morning progressed, the clinic grew busier. Patients came in with colds, minor injuries, and other health problems. Dr. Henry noticed a nurse quietly watching him. "Is everything okay, doctor?" she asked cautiously. Dr. Henry cleared his throat. Yes. I'm fine," he replied, but his mind was elsewhere. He could not stop thinking about Samuel and the letter describing Michael's achievements. He realized that he had judged Samuel too quickly. At that moment, a delivery person arrived at the clinic. The package was for Dr. Henry again. He hesitated before opening it, but finally tore it open. Inside was another letter, this time with a note requesting his presence at the city hospital for a meeting regarding the community health program. The note mentioned Michael's leadership and asked local doctors to connect with him. Dr. Henry's heart skipped a beat. He remembered Samuel's calm eyes and kind words. Suddenly a thought struck him. Could Samuel's son really be this Michael? He wondered. The idea made him anxious. He had dismissed Samuel without knowing the truth, and now he felt a small sense of guilt. Meanwhile, Samuel prepared for a walk to visit his neighbor, Mrs. Grace, who lived nearby. She had been a friend of the family for many years and often checked on Samuel. Today she greeted him warmly. "Good morning, Samuel. How are you feeling today?" she asked. "I am fine, thank you, Mrs. Grace," Samuel replied. "Just a little tired. I'm planning to rest a bit after this walk." Mrs. Grace smiled. "You are always strong, Samuel. People should learn patience and kindness from you." Samuel smiled politely. "I only try to live with respect for others. That is what matters most." As Samuel walked slowly back home, he thought about Michael again. The young man had worked hard to create a program that would help elderly patients everywhere. Samuel felt a sense of pride and hope. He believed that the world could be better if people treated each other with respect. Back at the clinic, Dr. Henry could not stop thinking about the letter. His pride had always been strong, but today it felt fragile. He remembered the way Samuel had waited quietly, the patience in his voice, and the dignity in his actions. Dr. Henry realized that he had misjudged the elderly man. By mid-morning, Dr. Henry decided he needed answers. He called the city hospital and asked to speak with Michael. When he heard Michael's voice on the phone, calm and confident, he felt an unexpected respect for the young man. He listened as Michael explained the program for elderly patients, emphasizing kindness, patience, and proper care for everyone. Dr. Henry felt a mix of admiration and regret. He realized that the man he had refused yesterday had a son who was making a real difference in the world. He could not believe that he had treated Samuel so unfairly. Meanwhile, Samuel returned home and rested. He did not know that Dr. Henry was already thinking about him and his son. Samuel believed that every person had a chance to learn and grow, and he trusted that time would reveal the truth. That afternoon, the sun shone brightly over Maplewood. Samuel sat quietly on his porch, reflecting on life and the lessons he had learned. He had faced many challenges, but he remained calm and patient. He knew that pride could blind people, and that humility often came after realization. At the same time, Dr. Henry paced in his office, thinking about what he should do next. He could not ignore the letter or the call from Michael. A small voice in his mind told him that he needed to make things right, but he was not sure how. And so Maplewood moved into the evening with anticipation in the air. Samuel rested with hope in his heart, and Dr. Henry wrestled with thoughts of regret. The story of pride, patience, and the importance of respect was only beginning to unfold, and soon the paths of father, son, and doctor would cross in a way that no one could have predicted. The next morning, Maplewood was bright and calm. Birds sang in the trees, and the streets were quiet except for a few people heading to work. Samuel woke early as always. His body felt heavy, but his spirit remained strong. He made tea and sat by the window watching the sunrise. He thought about Michael and the work his son was doing in the city. Samuel felt pride and hope for the future. Meanwhile, Dr. Henry could not sleep well. The letter from the city hospital and his phone call with Michael had stayed on his mind all night. He realized how badly he had misjudged Samuel. His pride had blinded him, and now he could not ignore the truth. He knew he had to act, but he was unsure how to approach the situation. By mid-morning, Dr. Henry decided to visit Samuel's home. He felt nervous, and his hands shook slightly as he walked through the quiet streets. He kept thinking about the young man he had spoken to on the phone. Michael's voice had been calm, confident, and kind. He knew instantly that Michael was a man of integrity, and that meant Samuel, the father, must also be a man of respect and wisdom. Samuel was outside tending to his small garden. He noticed Dr. Henry approaching and straightened up. The doctor stopped a few feet away, clearing his throat. "Samuel," Dr. Henry began, his voice unsure. I need to apologize." Samuel looked at him calmly. "For what, doctor?" he asked softly, his hands resting on the edge of the garden. Dr. Henry swallowed and continued. "Yesterday I refused to see you. I judged you too quickly, and I acted without understanding your situation. It was wrong, and I am sorry." Samuel studied the doctor for a moment. He could see the sincerity in Dr. Henry's eyes. He nodded slowly. "Thank you for saying that," Samuel replied. "It is never easy to admit when we are wrong." "I respect that." Dr. Henry felt a weight lift slightly from his shoulders. He took a deep breath and said, "I also learned about your son, Michael. He is leading a program to help elderly patients. I spoke to him on the phone. I did not realize who you were, Samuel, and I understand now how wrong I was to dismiss you." Samuel smiled, a small and gentle smile. "Michael has always believed in helping others. I am proud of him. But more than that, I believe that every person can learn and grow. Sometimes pride makes people blind, and sometimes humility comes later. Today I see that you are ready to learn." Dr. Henry felt a mixture of relief and embarrassment. He nodded. "I want to make things right," he said. "If you allow me, I would like to help you and anyone else who needs care. I want to support your son's program and learn from him." Samuel's eyes brightened slightly. He had patience, but he also recognized sincerity. "That is good, Doctor. Helping others is always the right choice. Michael would be happy to know that you are willing to work with him." Just then, the sound of footsteps reached them. Michael had arrived in Maplewood for a meeting with the town clinic. He carried papers and medical notes ready to organize the program. When he saw his father standing with Dr. Henry, he was curious but calm. "Father?" Michael asked, approaching slowly. Samuel turned and smiled. "Michael, this is Dr. Henry. We are talking about the program you are leading in the city." Michael extended his hand. "It is good to meet you, Doctor. I heard you were thinking about helping us." Dr. Henry shook Michael's hand firmly, feeling respect and admiration for the young man. "Yes, Michael. I want to be part of this program. I want to help the elderly in Maplewood receive proper care and respect." Michael looked at his father and then back at Dr. Henry. He nodded approvingly. "I am glad, Doctor. Working together is the only way to make a difference, and it is never too late to start." Samuel watched his son and the doctor. He felt proud and relieved. Patience and dignity had brought this moment. The town of Maplewood had witnessed an important lesson. Pride could lead to mistakes, but respect, humility, and cooperation could create understanding and change. Dr. Henry realized the truth in Samuel's quiet wisdom. He knew that his actions from the previous day were a mistake, but now he had the chance to correct them. And with Michael's guidance, he could make a real difference for the people in the town. As the three of them walked toward the clinic together, Samuel felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The world was not perfect, but moments like this made life meaningful. Dr. Henry, once proud and distant, was now learning the value of humility. And Michael, strong and kind, was showing that respect and care could bring people together in ways that changed lives forever. The sun shone brightly over Maplewood, signaling a new beginning for the doctor, the father, and the son. The lessons of patience, pride, and respect were finally taking root in the heart of the town. The following morning, Maplewood awoke with excitement. Word had spread about the new community health program led by Michael, and many people in the town were eager to participate. Samuel prepared a small breakfast for himself, feeling calm and hopeful. He knew this program could help many elderly people who had been neglected or ignored for too long. At the clinic, Dr. Henry arrived early. His pride had been replaced by a sense of responsibility. He wanted to make sure that this program worked well for the town. He reviewed the notes Michael had sent and prepared for the first meeting. He was nervous, but he felt ready to learn and contribute. Michael arrived shortly after, carrying charts, medicine samples, and a notebook filled with ideas. He greeted Dr. Henry warmly. "Thank you for joining us, Doctor. Your experience will help us reach more people." Dr. Henry nodded. "I am ready to help. I want to do what is right this time." Together they walked through the town, visiting the elderly homes and checking on patients. Samuel accompanied them, quietly observing the interactions. He was proud of his son and the way Dr. Henry had changed. He noticed that Dr. Henry spoke kindly to each person, listened carefully, and offered advice without judgment. The first house they visited belonged to Mrs. Grace, Samuel's longtime neighbor. She had lived alone for many years and had trouble walking. Michael checked her health records, explained the program, and showed her some exercises to improve strength. Dr. Henry assisted by measuring blood pressure and answering questions about her medicine. Mrs. Grace smiled broadly. "I feel cared for," she said softly. "Thank you for coming." Samuel watched silently, feeling warmth in his heart. This was what he had hoped for: care, respect, and kindness reaching every person. As the day continued, they visited more families. Word had spread that Michael and Dr. Henry were working together, and people began to gather outside their homes to learn about the program. Many elderly men and women who had once been ignored by the clinic now felt seen and valued. Dr. Henry felt a new sense of purpose. He realized that treating patients with respect was as important as the medical care itself. By afternoon, they returned to the clinic for a small meeting. Michael prepared a brief talk for the staff. This program is about helping everyone, especially the elderly. We must listen, understand, and care for each person. Respect is the key to healing. Dr. Henry listened quietly. He thought about his actions toward Samuel the day before. He realized how much pride had clouded his judgment. Now he felt grateful for the lesson and motivated to act differently in the future. Samuel looked around at the small team and smiled. He saw hope in their eyes. The town was beginning to change. People were learning that kindness and respect could heal more than medicine alone. Later, Samuel, Michael, and Dr. Henry walked together through the town square. Children waved, neighbors greeted them, and elderly people smiled warmly. Samuel felt proud not only of his son but also of the changes happening in the town. He thought about the day he had been refused care and how different everything had become. Life had a way of teaching lessons. He realized sometimes through patience, sometimes through humility, and sometimes through understanding the value of others. Michael stopped for a moment and spoke softly to his father. "Father, thank you for trusting me. Together we can make a difference here." Samuel placed a hand on Michael's shoulder. "You have always been wise, my son. Today the town will see the power of care and respect just as I always knew." Dr. Henry approached them quietly. "Samuel, Michael, I want to thank both of you. You have taught me something I will never forget. I will continue to help, and I will make sure that no one in Maplewood feels ignored again." Samuel nodded, his eyes calm and proud. "That is all I ever wanted, Doctor. A town where people care for each other no matter who they are." As the sun began to set over Maplewood, the streets glowed with warmth. Families returned home, children played, and the elderly felt a renewed sense of hope. The community health program had started, but more importantly, the spirit of respect and kindness had begun to grow in the hearts of the people. That evening, Samuel sat on his porch, reflecting on the day. He felt a deep sense of peace. Michael had taken his lessons to the world, and Dr. Henry had learned humility. Maplewood was changing, and Samuel knew that patience, dignity, and respect were stronger than pride or fear. For the first time in a long while, Samuel felt truly hopeful. The town would be better, and the people would know that care and kindness could transform lives forever. The days in Maplewood passed quickly as the community health program began to take shape. Michael, Samuel, and Dr. Henry worked together every morning, visiting homes, checking on patients, and teaching families how to care for the elderly. Word spread, and more people began to trust the clinic again. However, not everyone was immediately supportive. Some townspeople were skeptical. They had grown used to the old ways where many elderly people were ignored or treated unfairly. They whispered among themselves, questioning if this new program could really help. One morning, as Samuel walked toward the clinic with his cane, he noticed a small crowd gathered near the square. Curious, he approached slowly. There were some elderly residents, a few younger people, and one man who seemed upset. His name was Mr. Collins, a local shopkeeper who had always been critical of change. "I don't know if this program is any good," Mr. Collins said loudly. "I have been coming to this town my whole life, and I have seen many programs start and fail. Why should this one be different?" Samuel stood quietly for a moment, then spoke with calm authority. "Mr. Collins, I understand your concerns. Change is always difficult, but Michael has worked hard, and Dr. Henry is learning to help with respect. We are here to support everyone, not just a few. You will see results if you give us a chance." Mr. Collins frowned but did not reply. Samuel's calm words seemed to silence the crowd, even if only for a moment. Later that morning, Michael and Dr. Henry arrived at the clinic to prepare for a home visit. Michael noticed Samuel speaking with Mr. Collins and the other townspeople. "Father, you always know the right words," Michael said quietly. "You calm people and make them listen," Samuel smiled. "Patience and respect are stronger than arguments. People will see the results soon enough. Actions speak louder than words." Their first visit that day was to Mrs. Lewis, an elderly woman who lived alone at the edge of town. She had trouble walking and often felt lonely. Michael checked her vitals and explained some exercises to improve strength, while Dr. Henry helped organize her medications and advised on proper nutrition. Samuel stayed quietly by her side, offering kind words and encouragement. By the time they finished, Mrs. Lewis was smiling. "I feel cared for," she said softly. "It is good to know people are thinking about us." As they walked back to the clinic, Dr. Henry spoke quietly to Michael. "I did not realize how important it is to not just treat the illness, but to treat the person. I see now that patience and understanding are as powerful as medicine itself." Michael nodded. "That is the goal, Doctor. This program is not only about health, but also about respect and dignity for everyone in town." Later in the afternoon, a small emergency occurred. An elderly man named Mr. Thomas had fallen while carrying groceries. Samuel, Michael, and Dr. Henry rushed to his home. Michael assessed the situation calmly, while Dr. Henry helped Mr. Thomas onto a chair and checked for injuries. Samuel comforted the man, speaking gently and encouraging him to remain calm. The neighbors gathered outside, watching how carefully the three men worked together. They saw patience, skill, and respect in every action. Even Mr. Collins, who had been skeptical, stood quietly at the edge of the crowd, his eyes showing surprise. By the evening, Maplewood's streets were calm once again. Samuel returned home tired but content. He knew challenges would continue to arise, but he also knew that persistence, patience, and respect could overcome skepticism and fear. Michael sat beside his father. "Father, some people still doubt us, but today they saw what we can do together. They will begin to trust us soon." Samuel smiled and nodded. "Yes, son. Change does not happen all at once, but every kind action, every careful word builds trust. Keep going, be patient and respectful, and the town will learn." Dr. Henry returned to his office at the clinic, reflecting on the day. He felt a growing sense of pride, not in himself, but in the teamwork and the lessons he had learned. He realized that his role was not to control or judge, but to listen, help, and guide. As night fell over Maplewood, the town seemed a little brighter. People were beginning to see the difference that care, patience, and respect could make. Samuel, Michael, and Dr. Henry had started a journey that would change lives, one patient at a time. The lesson was clear. Even when skepticism and doubt appear, persistence, humility, and kindness could create lasting change. Maplewood was on its way to becoming a town where everyone felt valued and respected. The morning air in Maplewood was cool and clear, and the town felt alive with quiet excitement. Word about Michael's community health program had spread, and even more residents were curious to see how it worked. Samuel woke early, feeling a mix of pride and calm determination. He knew today would be important, and he prepared a small breakfast before heading out with his son and Dr. Henry. Michael and Dr. Henry were already at the clinic, reviewing notes and planning visits. Michael looked up as Samuel arrived. "Father, we have a busy day ahead, but I know we can make a real difference today," he said with a smile. Samuel nodded. "Every day we do this work, we build trust. Some people may doubt, but our actions will show the way." Their first visit was to Mr. Collins, the shopkeeper who had questioned the program days before. Samuel had walked with Michael to Mr. Collins' home, hoping to show patience rather than argument. Dr. Henry followed closely, carrying medical supplies and ready to assist. When Mr. Collins opened the door, he looked hesitant. "I still do not know if this will help anyone," he said, crossing his arms. Michael smiled kindly. "We are here to help, Mr. Collins. You can see for yourself, and you may find that it benefits everyone." Dr. Henry examined Mr. Collins's health records carefully, explaining each step as he went along. Michael guided exercises to improve mobility and shared tips for healthy eating. Samuel spoke quietly to Mr. Collins, offering encouragement and gentle reminders about the importance of care and patience. By the time they finished, Mr. Collins had a small smile on his face. "I did not expect this," he said softly. "I see now that it does help." Samuel nodded. "It always helps when people are treated with respect," he said calmly. "This is what Michael and Dr. Henry are showing everyone." As they left, more townspeople had gathered nearby. They had watched the visit and saw how carefully Michael and Dr. Henry treated Mr. Collins. Their skepticism began to fade, replaced by curiosity and trust. Later in the afternoon, a small emergency arose. Mrs. Lewis, the elderly woman who lived alone at the edge of town, had fallen in her garden. Samuel, Michael, and Dr. Henry rushed to her home. Michael quickly assessed her condition, while Dr. Henry assisted her to a chair and checked her vitals. Samuel spoke softly, reassuring her and helping her feel calm. Neighbors who had once doubted the program gathered outside, observing the careful attention given to Mrs. Lewis. They saw patience, kindness, and skill in every action. Some whispered to each other, realizing that the program was more than just medicine. It was about respect and care. That evening, after visiting several more families, the team returned to the clinic. Michael and Dr. Henry reviewed the day's work, discussing improvements and plans for the next visits. Samuel watched them, feeling proud of his son and of the change taking place in the town. Dr. Henry finally spoke, his voice quiet but sincere. "Samuel, I want to thank you for your guidance. Yesterday I did not understand the value of patience and respect, but today I see it clearly. Your son has shown me what it truly means to care for people." Samuel smiled gently. "It is never too late to learn, Doctor. Respect and humility can change hearts. You have learned that today, and I am glad." As the sun began to set, the streets of Maplewood glowed with a golden light. Children played in the squares, neighbors exchanged greetings, and the elderly felt supported and valued. The town, once skeptical and cautious, was beginning to embrace change. Samuel walked slowly home with his son. "Son," he said, "today we have shown the town the power of care and patience. People see that kindness matters more than words. Your work is making a difference." Michael smiled at his father. "It is because of you, Father. Your patience and wisdom guide me every day. Together we can continue to help more people." Dr. Henry followed behind them, thoughtful and humble. He realized that pride could blind him, but now he had learned the value of listening, learning, and working with others. That night, Maplewood felt different. There was hope in the streets, in the homes, and in the hearts of the people. Samuel sat on his porch watching the stars appear in the sky. He felt calm, knowing that patience, respect, and humility were stronger than pride or fear. The town was changing, and the lessons of kindness and understanding would continue to grow. Maplewood woke to a bright, warm morning. The air felt fresh, and the town seemed full of energy. Samuel stepped out of his home, breathing deeply. Today was special. The community health program had begun to show real results, and the town had started to trust the team completely. Samuel felt proud of his son Michael and the progress they had made. Michael was already at the clinic, organizing schedules and visiting plans. Dr. Henry arrived shortly after, carrying supplies and checking patient records. Both men looked focused, ready to continue their work. Samuel joined them with a calm smile. "Son, Doctor, today we can reach more people. Let's do it carefully and kindly, as always," he said. Michael nodded. "We will, Father. Every person we help today matters. They will see that care and respect are more important than words or excuses." Their first visit was to Mr. Thomas, the elderly man who had fallen a few days earlier. Michael checked his progress while Dr. Henry reviewed his medications. Samuel stood by, offering encouragement and kind words. Mr. Thomas smiled warmly. "I feel stronger today," he said. "Thank you all for helping me." The team then moved to other houses, visiting elderly men and women who had once felt alone or ignored. Michael taught simple exercises, offered nutrition advice, and explained ways to stay healthy. Dr. Henry assisted with medical guidance, checking vitals and answering questions carefully. Samuel quietly observed, making sure that everyone felt respected and listened to. By midday, more townspeople had gathered outside their homes to see the program in action. The skeptics from before, including Mr. Collins, watched quietly. They saw the care and patience in every action, the respect shown to each person, and the teamwork between Michael, Samuel, and Dr. Henry. Slowly, skepticism turned into understanding and appreciation. Later in the afternoon, the team returned to the clinic for a small celebration. Michael had prepared certificates of recognition for volunteers and staff members who had helped the program succeed. Dr. Henry accepted his certificate humbly, realizing how much he had learned from Samuel and Michael. Samuel smiled as he watched the gathering. "Today is a day to remember," he said softly. "Not because of awards, but because the town has begun to see the value of care, respect, and patience. Dr. Henry approached Samuel. "I want to thank you again. Yesterday I did not understand, but today I see. Your wisdom and patience have taught me lessons I will never forget." Samuel nodded. "It is never too late to learn, Doctor. What matters is what we do now. Help, kindness, and respect can change lives at any moment." By evening, the sun began to set over Maplewood. The streets glowed in soft light, and families returned home with a sense of hope. Samuel walked slowly through the town, observing the smiling faces of elderly residents, children playing, and neighbors greeting each other warmly. The town had begun to embrace change, and the seeds of care and respect had taken root. Michael walked beside his father. "Father, we have done well. People are starting to trust us, and they are beginning to understand the importance of patience and kindness." Samuel placed a hand on his son's shoulder. "It is your heart and determination that made the difference, Michael. You showed them that respect and care matter more than pride or doubt." Dr. Henry joined them, his expression thoughtful. "I have learned so much from both of you. Pride once made me blind, but now I understand humility and patience. I will continue to help, and I will teach others to do the same." As the three men stood together, the town seemed to shine with warmth. Maplewood had learned a valuable lesson, that respect, patience, and kindness could change the way people lived and cared for each other. The actions of one patient father, his determined son, and a humble doctor had brought hope and trust to the entire community. Samuel returned home that night, sitting on his porch and looking at the stars. He felt calm and proud. The journey had not been easy, but the results were clear. Michael's leadership, Dr. Henry's learning, and the support of the town had created something lasting. And in that quiet moment, Samuel knew that the town of Maplewood would continue to grow in kindness and respect. The story of pride, patience, and understanding had reached its conclusion, but the lessons would live in the hearts of every person who had witnessed it. Maplewood had changed, and the future was bright.